Shalom and good day all. This is Tehillim29 back again for Super Sun's Fortress of Attitude. And I thought I'd cover something a little bit different today. And as you can see here, we've got DC Comics, or should we say DC or Detective Comics, covering the Batman versus Robin series, and I was hoping of having a bit of a look through this. So as we can see here, we've got quite a bit of a picture being shown here. We've got Flatline, give me Maya over Flatline anytime. At least she's got character and isn't a fangirl of either Talia or Selena. Of course, we've got Batman and Damian Wayne Robin here, and a picture of Alfred. So I thought I'd have a bit of a look through this, as it's a somewhat a DC preview of what is to be expected in September. So as you can see here, we've of course got a picture of the actual cover, or one of the main covers. And the first is called Chapter 1 Reunion. So we've already got a bit of a heads up of what to expect. So it says, spinning out of the events of Batman vs. Superman, World's Finest, and Shadow War, father and son will do battle in one of the single most earth-shattering tales ever told by DC's new comic book series, Batman vs. Robin by Mark Waid and Mahmoud Asra, which launches in September 13. So by the time that my September reviews go up, no doubt it will connect with what I'll be reviewing on the channel, which will be showing on the channel for October. So you'll have my September stuff going up in October. So deep in the heart of Lazarus Island, the demonic legacy of the Al Ghul family line has at last been freed. And the devil Nezza is out for blood to reclaim his total domination over planet Earth. Nezza has supercharged magic, and anyone who dares use it to overcome by a demonic evil that supercharges and clutches. And Bruce haunted by the return of an old friend. The Dark Knight and the Boy Wonder are pitted one against another in a battle of the century. Legendary writer Mark Waid. Now, one thing I want to say, should Mark Waid ever get to hear this, keep Damian Wayne a hero. I mean it. Keep Damian Wayne a hero. And I want him to remain a hero in the DC universe. Why? I want more Super Sons. That's why. Not only that, the Super Sons was good for his character, as it was also good for John Samuel's Kent character when he was at the best age. And that's the truth. So, and story picks up from Batman vs. Superman was World's Finest, and witness the possible return of a key character in an ongoing Batman and Robin conflict. So this is going to be interesting. Now, I will actually show um, some of the internal with the story here, but I want to get through the rest of this first, and also what we see here. Batman vs. Robin, a new 5-issue with 48 pages each, series by Mark Waid, Jordi Belair, and Steve Wands, launches in September 13. Main cover, Batman vs. Robin. And of course, we've got the trailer below.
Something is horribly wrong in the magic realm. And it seems like Damian Wayne might actually be the cause of this somehow. Zatanna is obviously a big part of issue 1. Constantine, the Demon, Felix Faust, Tanarak. You're going to be seeing as many of the magic characters as we have in the DC universe. With Batman Superman World's Finest, we've made no secret that the Devil Nezha, who was the villain there, is also going to be one of the big villains in Batman vs. Robin. Mahmoud is great. The character likenesses are bang on. The way he handles Batman is terrific. He takes advantage of the real estate that I give him, and he doesn't squawk when I shovel just gobs and gobs of magical artifact reference at him. Batman vs. Robin ties very strongly into the future of the DC Universe. There's something that happens in the climax that will affect dozens and dozens of DC characters, minor and major.
All right, so now let's have a bit of a look at what So we'll now have a bit of a look as to what it actually shows on the inside of this. And as we can see here, we've got quite a bit happening. Oh, hold on, I better do this. As you can see here, we've got quite a bit happening. And of course, there's the first page. We get a bit of a look. And we've got Batman and Robin together. And it's really nice how Mark Waid shows how Robin, Damian Wayne, is connected to two worlds. The world of the Waynes and the world of the Al Ghuls. And this gives like a real big hint as to a lot that's happened. His mother, the daughter of the demon, and the heir of the Al Ghul legacy. The only issue here is that I sort of want to dress up is that if this is going to be used, especially properly, they'd be better off fixing up some of this art to sort of like show like when he was originally under Talia al Ghul. But understanding that this is also bringing over a bit of a connection between the Joshua Williamson run and present run. There's quite a bit that they're missing, especially in some of the art's execution. For this, as you can see here, this actually shows a little bit of the art that connects to when he like first met Batman on one side, but it's also integrating some of the art in connection to the Joshua Williamson run art. And if anything, he should really be wearing this in this first part. So that's just a minor criticism of what I see right now with this. But that's not to say that we won't be good. Of course, we've got then tragedy struck. Now this is showing the connection of when they lost Alfred. Of course, showing how they work together as father and son, which is absolutely amazing. And so, as well as also addressing the terrible crap that happened under Adam Glass. So we'll move to the next page. And we return to the Wayne Manor. And we've got this stranger who's turning up in Gotham City. And as we look here, we've got Bruce. And he's looking outside. We get a bit of a discussion there. We also get to see him even looking at the family photos, including with Damian Wayne, which I really like. I think the artist has done a pretty decent job with this. We look to the rest and we find out that there's a bit of a knock at the door. And big surprise, guess who it is? So this is going to be really interesting. I hope the explanation for this will be really good as to how Alfred is actually back to life in this. And if we were to get it anywhere, I really hope we get it in the first issue, because being 48 pages in each issue, they should definitely be able to cover, even if it's within 3 pages. And then we move into the main chapter page. And I must admit, I think this is absolutely brilliant. The way how this is done. It's really nice to see this. So we've got Batman, Gotham City's Dark Knight, and Detective Robin, son of Batman, and heir of the Ghoul dynasty. The boy wonder has aspired to walk in his father's path of righteousness, but his demonic lineage has been reignited. For months, Robin has traveled the world, disowned by Batman. One problem there. Yes, it has me interested too, Tevier, as to why Alfred is also alive. So I really hope Mark Waid explains why he's alive or how he's been brought back to life, because we're really going to need this in the story. Um, but the thing is, he wasn't disowned by Batman. That's the thing, right? This is an error. He was not disowned by Batman, even at the end of the Shadow War run. He was not disowned by him. He was not disowned by him after the Robin No More saga. And this is another problem. Stop retconning this shit. I mean it. This shit needs to stop. And right, make Damian Wayne a hero. Right, because one of the best things that really worked in Damien's favor was also having a friend to help him aspire to being a better Robin, or a better superhero. It was the young John Samuel Kent. And we really need to see these two reunited. And Um, of course, it speaks of him. Um, his sojourn has brought him to Lazarus Island, and where an ancient evil beckons him, and a deadly magical threat from Batman's past stands poised to murder the Cape Crusader and tear the world asunder. And of course, we got here, it's called Reunion. And he was not disowned by his father. That is a complete lie, right? If you look at the Peter J. Tomasi Detective Comics run, he was not disowned by his father. You go to the Joshua Williamson run, as much as many people love it or hate it, right? At the end of the Shadow War event, he was not disowned by his father. And here's Mark Waid saying he was. No, he wasn't. Now, I wouldn't mind going to something else. So I'll just fix this up because I want to show you something, especially in the upcoming in AIPT. Where is it? There. All right. Now moving on to the next thing that I want to show. Yeah, you know what, Tevier? I'm sick of these retcons too. Right? Because we both pay attention to what's been happening in the story. And all it takes is a jerk like this that ignore the story and ignore the continuity. And as we move in here, I must admit, I really like this. Now, as we get a bit of a preview in regards to this, of course, we've got the Robin variants, which I'll be getting all, say, the main plus the variants. All right, we get a bit of a look here. All right, and this is just connecting to a lot of the previous stuff that's happened in the story so far. All right, and I really like this. And of course, we get this bit of an introduction as to what's happening in this last volume presently of the Damian Wayne Robin series. Yeah, the only retcon I would accept is if we get a retcon with our boy John Samuel Kent Superboy and de-age him back to normal. Yeah, I would totally be up for that. And I really want to see the Super Sons back. Now, Mark Waid, yeah, as much as he's writing, say, a good World's Finest, which I'm actually planning on getting a review done for the August or third week of August reviews, which will be my first one on the channel, to which I'll be covering. Of course, we get to see this. And of course, we've got something happening here with Mother Soul. And as things appear, again, someone is not paying attention to the story. And by the looks of things, it looks like Mother Soul is actually responsible for Damian Wayne to being possessed. But we'll wait until we get the full story. In relation to this. And of course, Deathman, well, gets a taste of his own medicine. So I'll stop that there. And I must admit, it's time for DC to end turning, say, even legacy characters into villains, right? I'm sick of this shit. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I mean it. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Um, as with it, it really gets annoying. And if they really want a villain called Damien, number one, create your own Damien. In fact, I've got an idea which you can freely use. All right. Here's my idea, and I've even posted it on Twitter. And this is, how about you create your own Damien, different surname, and make his villain name Omen or the Omen. And he could actually be a good villain or rival for Damian Wayne. So in that, he could be what Damian does not want to be. Right? Sure, he might have a similar skill set to Damian Wayne. I mean it. He could have a similar skill set to Damian Wayne. Now, to anyone who's seen like the Omen movies, like I like the idea of that sort of like evil villain Damien. Yes, it's in its own world, but how about DC create their own Damien, somewhat similar to that evil Damien, call him or call his villain name the Omen, and as something we both know, we say in regards to both characters, right? They have both played a part in the area of the supernatural. And that's the thing, they've both played a part in the area of the supernatural. And sure, one is sort of like set like an apocalyptic doomsday type story, where the other one's something else. But in the comics, but maybe bring that character over. This one becomes the villain, say the Damien plus, or you could even call him Damien Stone, for example, or Damien Stone, something like that. Damien, for example, meets him in combat, learns that he's a villain, but he's got no plan of changing his ways. In other words, this character could practically be Damien's version of the Joker. Sure, he might share the same first name, but his surname is different. I think that would be great for DC Comics to use. So therefore, Damien has something that he can look on and say, I don't want to become like that. I want to be better than that. Right? If you want your 666 evil Batman, use the Omen as that character, not Damian Wayne. Like, give him a character that refuses to leave their evil deeds behind. And I think that would really work in the DC universe. Like, this character could even be a bit of a threat to even John Samuel Kent. Why? Because he's not afraid to use magic on supers or superpowered heroes. And what would be more of a threat to Damien? Someone who also threatens his friends. That would work so much better for his character than stupid retcons just to ruin his character, to ruin all the growth that he has gained before. Give him a villain, literally, give him a villain that becomes basically his Joker. Maybe even maybe the demon Nezek can de-age our boy John Samuel Kent. Well, of what we've seen so far in regards to Neza, in the storytelling, yes, we understand that he's a type of magic character as well. Maybe he could do something like that. But I reckon being a villain, if he really wanted to piss off Damian Wayne, he wouldn't de-age John Samuel Kent. He'd age him up even more. In other words, you remember in, I think it was Volume 2, Planet of the Capes? What if we had what happened in Planet of the Capes, instead of happening it to um, Damian Wayne, to where he was aged to be a grandpa? What if John got to experience that? Right? What happened if John was actually aged to be a grandpa? So it becomes a bit of a role reversal. But when they sort of like work on getting John de-aged to back to where he was, um, maybe something goes wrong and he gets returned back to age 10, but he forgets his history in regards to the Legion of Superheroes and all that, and all the crap that's happened before that, like all of the stuff in relation to what Bendis did, all of that history gets erased. And say, for example, Damien or his father might ask him about it, and he might say, "Who? What? Who are they?" Right? That would actually work for the character. And once that also happens there, it also affects the timeline to which he was in. So, in other words, the Bendis universe and the Tom Taylor universe no longer exists after that occurs. In other words, it becomes like a distant memory, no longer to be remembered, but to be forgotten completely. Like, it would be like, seeing Neza as sort of like a supernatural type villain, I could definitely see him aging John Samuel Kent up to grandpa age, to which he would be unable to fight him. Right? Because that's what a villain would do. He would bring a character to a state to which they would be unable to fight back. Sure, there is the de-age idea, but if you're going to bring in the de-age, well, it's got to include this additional stuff in it too. So it really makes you think as to what really can work for some of these stories. So it's really good to talk about um, this particular issue in the comics with what's coming up. And I know it's coming out in September when we're almost moving into September now. We're about 1 week away, but 2 weeks away until practically the first haul comes out. And if it's something that DC really need to stop doing, yeah, retcons some retcons are seriously bad. They need to end. Like when a new writer comes onto a character, especially Damien, number one, they don't look at what has come before. That's the thing. They don't look at what has come before. And by doing that, they ignore continuity. And that's a lot of crap that Bendis has done, plus other writers. I even admit, even Tom Taylor can be really lazy with that continuity stuff. Now, there are definitely some things that they could really do to fix it up. And that's the truth. There are definitely some things that they could do to fix it up. And by fixing it up is have writers that definitely pay attention to what came before them. Like we need these writers to pay attention to what comes before. And Batman never disowned, for a fact, Damian Wayne, like in regards to this Batman versus Robin. He never disowned him. Not even in the Grant Morrison, he never disowned him. Not even in the Tinian, he did not disown him. even in not just the Tinian, um, even in the Tom King run, he did not disown him. And that's the stupid thing about these writers. He did not disown Damian Wayne. He still accepted him as his son. Ah, absolutely bloody crazy. Well, a big thanks to all who managed to jump to this live stream. As I know I don't normally do live streams at this time, but I was wanting to talk about this preview as to what had been shared to us by DC Comics, and I do plan on reviewing the Batman versus Robin event on the Super Sons Fortress of Attitude side of things. So it will go up on that website. I really hope they explain how Alfred has come back to life or what led to Alfred's resurrection, because you can definitely say one thing about this. It doesn't look like he was brought back to life by the Lazarus resin. That is something that you can tell about his character. So the next question is, who brought Alfred back to life? And that I look forward to in the story. Because we know in the Batman Batman and Superman World's Finest, in that we do get to see Alfred's appearance as to when that is actually set in place. So, as to who resurrected or brought Alfred back to life, I presently got no idea. And I mean, I presently got no idea. But if you've got any ideas of who might have brought Alfred back to life, um, definitely share it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you got to say. I don't think it would be Zatanna, but there are more than just one magic user in the DC comic universe. Well, a big thanks to all who made it to this live stream. And I'll see you again at Super Saiyan's Fortress of Attitude.